or youth. That's even mine, actually. I scored a 10 on words of affirmations, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. That just goes to show humanly, we really need that interaction, and we kind of look for it. That's why I'm trying to get you to understand it's important what you say, what you speak over yourself, what you let other people say over you. You know, you might have to stop a person in their tracks if they're not saying the right thing to you. You know, you have the right to do that. You can shut them down, you know, and respectfully, you know, but you might have to do that. Because if you don't look out for you, no one else is going to. Who had quality time for the second one? Was it your second largest?
No, it's not first.
That was your first.
Awesome.
Okay.
Both of them. And receiving gifts.
Wow. Receiving gifts.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome. And then what about acts of service? Who had a
That was my third.
that was your third?
That was
Nice.
I had
Third.
mine.
5.
Okay. What about physical touch?
That was my
Four.
very last one.
Okay. And that doesn't mean in a perverted way. It just means like, you know, your dad might rub your head or pat you on the shoulder
No.
or hit your back or something like that. So yeah, keep it clean.
Rub his hair.
Yeah, rub your head or something like that. Yeah. And believe it or not,
No.
you guys should remember these because when you become adults, your love language does not change typically. So this should also help you when you get to the point of looking for a spouse. If they can't respond to you in the way that what's number one for you, you might want to think about, should I really be connecting myself with, amongst other things, but should I really be connecting myself with this person? You know, because then that marriage can become like an eternity of just this heartache and disappointment, and you don't want that.
So like, I'm words of affirmation, right? My wife is acts of service. So we have a rough time unless I consciously think about it. So I can say, hey, you look really nice today, or I love that dress. It doesn't mean a thing to her. But if I go get her shoes for her, oh man, I get a totally different kind of reaction. She's like a totally different person. If I cook a meal and, you know, and put some candlelight on the dining table or something, then it's a whole different person that I'm dealing with. So acts of service are really important. All she has to do is say, hey, you know, good job, Michael. You know, I'm good.
Right. That's a good combination too.
Yeah, not bad.
Because, you know, a lot of times we respond to people in the way we want to be responded to, and that's not always the correct way. You might have to, like he said, make a conscious effort to do for this person, which, you know, in a way that doesn't mean anything to you. For example, I scored a 0 in receiving gifts. Now, that doesn't mean I don't like for my husband to go out and buy me some stuff, but you know, if he went and bought me some stuff over words of affirmation or spending quality time, it means absolutely nothing to me. I mean, I've never said it to him, and I wouldn't want to crush him in that way, but it's just the truth. You know,
That was my second hardest.
huh?
That was my second hardest.
Which one? Quality.
Gifts.
Receiving
Oh,
gifts,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to pass this around. This will give you a description of each one. So now you're kind of conscious of it. And then now also you have a way of expressing yourselves to your parents on what you like and what you don't like.
Wow. That's awesome.
I want to give these to you, but I'd like to keep a copy if I could, just for future, for a parent program that we may be doing. And hopefully we'll be doing it with the parents of the kids that are sitting here. We won't share your, I won't do that to you.
Put their names on it.
You don't even have to do that if you don't want to. I just want to talk in relatives, basically. Did you get one?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh. So if you could, you know what, at least put your name on the back for me, just so I know who to give it back to. And I won't make a copy of the back.
Do you have a stapler?
I don't. I was looking for it and it disappeared from the last. when we did, and I didn't see one there.
That's a lot.
But to make copies, I need it unstapled anyway.
I can go with that.
Don't even do that, it won't go through the copier. I'm gonna keep them.
Oriana, you're spelling for you.
ORRIEYANNA.
Just write your name on the back. Yeah, just on the back.
R-Y-A-N.
I'll have these for you next week.
Okay. So I just spelled it. That's okay. And you gave me 630-742-8296 with T-Mobile? Okay. So I'll shoot that and take this.
I got one.
You have your phone with you? No. Alright. And spell down Brown. Spell.
I want to have you guys also, while I'm thinking about it, sign in and give me a cell phone if you have one, email if you have one, so I can start just communicating with you during the week. If you don't have a cell phone or,
I have one, I just don't know my
okay, you know your email.
Do you
Let's send it.
receive text messages on your cell phone? You're okay with that?
You just don't have a number.
Yeah.
number. Oh, it's fun.
Okay,
Yes.
Yeah, that worked out real fast.
Well, good.
Do you know what company you use, Eris? Whether it's T-Mobile or Boost or? No? Okay, so if you can get the number and tell us what company you use, that would be good.
we are gonna write a poem today too, now that we've learned how to, yes, we are.
Yes, we are, of course.
You did?
You did a poem already?
For this week? Okay.
Wow.
So you came ready, huh?
Oh my
You
God. You brought it with you or you just did it since you're here?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, awesome.
Do you want to share? You don't have to do it right now, but can you wait until next week? That's fine. No pressure. Real quick though, before we go into the poem of this week, did you all think about a group name? We need to come up with a group name. Like think in terms of performance. Like we need a group name.
Hinsdale.
No,
Oh, wait.
we need something catchy,
What
something,
you got, Joe?
something.
I just like don't really know who.
What?
Any ideas? Or should we just pick it? See, I wanted you all to be involved in that process so that you'll own it. You know what I mean? It'll mean something to you.
Right.
I could easily just give you a name.
The poetry tree.
Poetry tree?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Because if you put a name to something, you want to be able to tell people what that means and the significance behind it. Especially when it doesn't easily make sense, you know, when you say it. So what does that mean to you, poetry tree? Hello, how you doing, Mr. Tucker?
Like when a tree grows, a lot of things grow with it.
Oh,
Like
okay.
when you learn stuff, your mind grows. And if you write it on paper, it can be the same thing.
So you're thinking in terms of something, of growth, something that, like a tree starts out young and then over time it becomes like one of those huge trees that you can tell have been around for a while. Okay, I like that. Any other ideas?
Call it once, call it twice.
The red
I like this guy.
I do too. Any ideas? Come on, guys. Because this is, you know, this is not really for this class. We'll talk about that later, but this gets into what we call branding. Once you put a name to something you're doing, you don't want to change it. Because you kind of lose your audience as you're building momentum. And people are starting to pay attention to what you're doing. You really don't want to ever have to change that. So you really want to put some thought into it. So should we give you another week to come back with some ideas? But we'll definitely have to have one next week if we extended a week. you all have to come back with something so we can decide in the next class. So now that you all have,
Oh, I got one.
what you got?
Poetic Justice. That's my movie.
Poetic Justice?
Poetic justice.
Poetic Justice. We'll throw that in the pile with Poetry Tree, and then give everybody else an opportunity.
I can write it for you.
Oh,
Think about this is going to be on the blog, okay? So,
Can everybody just choose one
and we vote.
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping to do. That's why we're gonna put your two in there, and then next week we'll actually vote on what we think.
Okay.
I want you to see what we have. See this. I want everybody to see this again. And for Aries, so that you see this, I'm going to open up our blog because this is where you guys are going to be putting your poems and your. See where it says here, Community Spotlight. Everybody can see that. You see that, Aries? I'm going to make it bigger so you can see it better. Good. Oops. It's smaller, I guess. There. It's coming. Okay. So here's Community Spotlight. I just have a space here. I have just poems, August 2015. I purposefully put something that we know we don't want. All right, because that's the name that's going to show up there. So when you send your friends, or you send your parents, and that's what's going to be on there. Whatever you name the group, all right, we're going to have that wording right in there on the blog. All right, so that's. I want you to think about that as you think about a name. So it would be something that's out there, something that's on a blog, but it also represents what you are, and who you are, and what we're doing. All of that together. All right, so that's an assignment for next week, all right? And if you get Mrs. Verdun your numbers or your email address, she will send you a reminder.
Or whatever, self-expression. Okay, so the theme for this week's poem, since we've gone through building self-esteem, and now we've moved into positive, constructive critique, now you guys know how to really cut through the bad stuff and really dig for the good stuff. So the theme for this poem this week is where I'm from, or I come from a place. I don't have mine memorized, but I have a poetry book, and I'm going to read it, and then Robin. I knew it was R. Robin is going to do one for us. Okay. I come from a place. I come from a place where the streets are paved with gold. There is no sting of death and no chance of growing old. I come from a place that flesh and blood cannot inherit, where there is no sickness, sorrow, or curse, and definitely no wicked people at work. I come from a place where there is no end, you see. Before I was thought manifested in the minds of my parents, or a fertilized egg planted in the womb of my mother, I was spirit. Spirit without a body. I resided where Jesus lies, sitting at the right of the hand of the Father, making intercession for you and me. Here I stand before you today, shot to earth, clothed in this earthly body to carry out God's perfect plan for my life, to fulfill my destiny and help usher you into yours, to lead people into the promised land flowing with milk and honey. I'm your modern day Harriet Tubman. I go before you as the spirit of the breaker, making the rough places smooth and the crooked places straight, clearing a path for your easy passage. And one day we shall overcome and return to that place I'm from. I'm from that place that some refer to as the kingdom of God, but so many more know it as that place called heaven, and that's where I'm from.
Whoa. So, only, this is not a critique for you, this is a critique for this group. We missed something. Yeah!
Oh, we sure did. We sure did. We sure did.
So I'm calling it 2 times now. We got to get other people to start calling this
Yes,
before we go.
sure do.
All right? So we got to do it even if it's after the fact.
We're
right?
gonna do it right for Robin.
Okay.
Here we go.
Feed me
on
on
the
the
job,
job,
feed
feed
it
it
back.
back.
Feed me on the job, feed it back. Feed me on the job, feed it back. Feedback.
No, no.
So for this particular piece, it represents coming from a place of insecurities and uncertainties to where you realize your gift and your calling and understanding your process of growth. So to make it simple, that's what it's about. Suffocation is all I feel at this very moment. The thought of this me that's not afraid to be free, indeed to no end, is frightening. As I began to shake, I would rather leave than deem this a mistake, because when I decided to face my fears, I never factored in the things that could be at stake. It seems like inhaling is an impossible task. I feel restrained like a broken limb inside of a cast. If I had one wish, the only thing I would ask is that my frustrations would serve me like an oxygen mask. Then maybe I could survive this very moment. That was that moment. But since that moment, I have vowed to never allow my insecurities or unsureties be stifling to the delivery of my creativity, because although a delivery made prematurely can be detrimental to that has been developing in me, having something overdue left inside of you can be detrimental to not only you but also to society. You see, we all have something that someone needs to survive. But if we keep it inside, then we'll let it grow until it dies, and in the process it'll kill you too. So I ask you, are you overdue? I have something to deliver. I have something that someone needs. But before I can expect you to drop your guards enough to let me in, I must first comprehend my own ability to build, produce, develop, and lead. You see, greatness is not our gift. Greatness is our command. Our gift is what God has blessed us with in order to reach our fellow sister in man, but greatness is the magnitude in which we are to do it. Greatness allows us the ability to lift someone up.